Yo, what's up, fellas? I want to make a quick video on the 450L, how to do the 450R swap. I'm going to be going over stuff like the 450R plastic conversion, 450R tank, as well as the 450R number plate, headlight delete. So I'm going to go ahead and rip some panels off this thing, and I'll show you guys how to do it. First, we're going to go over the tank swap on the bike. First is finding your tank. You can get these all day long on eBay. I think I got mine for like 150 bucks. I'll post a little screenshot up here of a few tanks that are on eBay now. Also check Facebook Marketplace. There's always parts bikes, 450R rollers and stuff that you can snag a gas tank for. Coming down to the actual install itself, super easy with the tank. It really is. So under here, you can run the stock 450L fuel pump. It bolts right up, no problem. The back bolts of the tank bolt right up to the stock location of the 450L. Up front here, the main mounting bolt for the 450R does not fit because the frame on the L is a little bit longer. So you have to make this little straight bracket here. Pretty easy. I made mine out of a piece of plastic. This side just nut and bolted, and then this side goes right to the frame. Now, if you are going to run this tank, you do need 450R shrouds. The only difference from the L is this top mounting bolt here on the L is usually somewhere up here, but on the R it's back here. These two mounting locations are the exact same. So you're going to mount, see if I can get a better angle here, stock 450L location there. It's going to mount up to the radiator in the stock location, and then up there it'll grab the tank. As for the plastics, this bike already shares a lot of the same plastics as the 450R. You can run these 450R, same fender as the 450R. My number plates back here are actually 450L. Just because it's single exit exhaust. If you do the 450R number plates, it's going to be wide on both sides for the dual exhaust that the 450R has. If you look on UFO Plastics, they actually sell a single exit 450R plastic shroud that'll fit. All right, guys, and as for the tail section, if you want to run a 450R tail, which I recommend, it looks super clean. You have to do a little bit of trimming in here, so I'm going to try to move the wires here and show you. The 450R is going to come with a bunch of stuff to mount up to the stock 450R subframe. You're pretty much going to have to trim that out of here. So you have to cut some mounts off here, sand them down, cut some mounts off here and sand them down. I'm going to show you down here in an old one that I was running. You're essentially going to have to cut everything off the fender that's in this location and sand it down except for these side bolt hole brackets. That's what's going to catch your seat bolts and hold it in place. These holes here you do not have to make. So if you do this, do not make these holes. Those holes are strictly for my custom subframe that I have in there. But if you're not running a custom subframe, you do not have to make those holes. You will have to cut the bike subframe though. You're gonna chop it. I'm gonna try to get a better angle. There's my rear seat bolt. So you're looking at about a 1/2 inch behind that. Actually, I'm gonna bust out a tape measure. Yeah, we're looking at about 3/8 behind the rear seat bolts. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It just has to be able to fit the fender. And whenever I fit mine, I'm always looking at this right here, this gap between your shroud and your rear fender to make sure that lines up good. And if you don't want to run the 450R fender because you're like me and you have OCD and you hate having like this, I don't know, this kind of messed up trimmed fender, even though it's underneath the seat, nobody sees it, it still annoys me. And I still run a 450R fender. There's also this option too. So this is the 450X fender from Source Off-Road. This is a full conversion kit. And you actually don't have to do any trimming at all. This is completely plug and play, mounts right up, mounts up to the stock location as the L. And it gives you a much cleaner look. Comes with flush mount turn signals, as well as an integrated tail light, and it also comes with a plate bracket. That's somewhat how that would look. I just went for the 450R fender because I just didn't want the tail light hump. So, all right, guys. So those are actually surprisingly the easy conversions when it comes to the 450R. If you want to do the headlight delete and you want to run a sick number plate like this, because it does look clean, or maybe you're an off-road only guy and you just don't want to have the headlight anymore, this is one of the more difficult mods to do. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and show you guys what you have to do behind here to make it work. All right, guys, so here we have a 2019 CRF450R number plate. Now, there's two different number plates you can run. One's going to be a little bit easier and one's going to be a little bit harder, so I'm going to go over both. First, I'm going to go over the 2019. So this is the one that will actually fit the look of your bike, but it's going to be a little bit harder to mount. You're going to have to come up with your own solution here, unless you do what I did. So on the back of this bottom section is going to snap right into your stock fender, no problem. The only thing you're going to have to do is remove the little bracket down here for your headlight. Now on top here, you have two mount bolts. That's what holds it on the top. The problem with that is on the CRF450L stock triple clamps, there's no holes up here to mount it, as well as you have your ignition hole, which kind of blocks it a little bit, and you have your speedo, all that stuff. So what I did to make this fit, and the main reason I actually did this conversion, is because I actually got a set of CRF450R triple clamps. Now, you don't have to do this if you do the second number plate I'm going to show you guys, but if you go the 2019 route, you will need 450R triple clamps because they do have the top mounting bolts. Now, I'm sure if you have a solution in mind, you could probably come up with. You don't have to go that route. Maybe a little zip tie work, or maybe you can make your own brackets. Yeah, like I said, guys, so you can maybe get creative on how to mount that up there, but that's totally your call. And then when it comes to stuff like the speedometer and, you know, some of the other stuff back here, you can make the speedometer work, but you're going to have to make your own bracket, and I'm going to kind of show you how to do that as well. I opted to not run the speedometer I was going for more of a dirt bike look, dirt bike aesthetic on the bike. Now, when it comes to the wiring, guys, this is where it gets a little bit trickier. So you have things like your throttle cable and your clutch cable and your brake cable and stuff like that. And you need to make everything fit behind the 450R number plate. Now, if you look at a bike similar to, if you actually go on Google Images and you look up pictures of the 450R, or if you have a 450R, even a 250R handy, and you look behind the number plate, these bikes actually have a 250R right here too. Behind the number plate on these bikes, on these dirt bikes, there's like nothing going on. You know, you have like two wires for your kill switch and your e-start and maybe your clutch and throttle. Now on the 450L, you have a lot of stuff going on back here. Like I said, you got a lot of stuff going on back here. You have a lot more wires. You know, you have your turn signal wires, you got your headlight wires, speedometer cables, you have stuff for your ECU, you have fuses. So there's a lot of stuff going on back here. And if you kind of see, that sticks out pretty far. And actually from stock, it sticks out even farther. So your job here is where it gets a little tricky. You have to find a way to get these wires to sit as flush as you can to your frame without them getting pinched when you turn the bars. Now, this is somewhat what mine looks like. A lot of zip ties. You're probably gonna have to use a lot of zip ties to get everything to fit real nice and tight and snug. But also you have to make sure when you turn your bars, nothing's getting pinched. Nothing's getting messed up there. So essentially what I did is I would zip tie wires, grab my number plate, test fit it, zip tie some more wires, test fit it, keep turning the bars back and forth until it was able to move without pinching everything. And also while you're doing this process, check your throttle cable at full lock both ways. Make sure it's not getting pinched and stuck. Same goes with your clutch. And if you're like my bike, you're running a handbrake, it makes it a little bit more difficult because now you're going to have a second brake line flowing through here. So this is the part where you're kind of going to have to get a little bit creative with your wires. All right, guys, now the second number plate conversion is arguably easier. Might look a little better. It might fit a little bit better for you guys. So that's going to be updating your front end to a 2022 plus front end. So that's going to be running the new style fender and the new style number plate. Now the new style fender will bolt right up to this bike, no problem. You can slap it right on there and you got a new fender. Now when it comes to the number plate here, the thing that makes this a little bit easier when you're putting the new number plate on is instead of the top mount bolts of the 2019, you have one singular front mount bolt. Now I'm going to provide images on the screen here. And you guys can check them out. They're from another guy in the CRF450L Facebook group who posted. He did this front end conversion. Do something similar with your wires. But all you're going to have to do is drill one hole in your triple clamp, tap it out, and then this new front end will fit right onto your bike. So that's a lot easier than trying to get new triple clamps or coming up with a dual bolt mounting solution up top here. All right, guys, well, that's the video. I know these mods aren't for everybody, but anybody that this video helped, let me know down below. And if you guys seriously have any questions, just DM me on Instagram. My DMs are always open. I respond to anybody. So if this video wasn't in detail enough for you, just hit me up on Instagram. I can help you out with the fine details and get you set up. And I know these mods may seem daunting, and they were for me as well, but once you get them done, they look so good on the bike, guys. Definitely worth it. Also, guys, my Patreon is now live, so anybody that goes over there and supports me, you get a lot of benefits from it. Go over there, check it out. You can see what you get. But anybody that subscribes will also get a free sticker. We got the Low Moto box logos here, as well as these new Pixie holographic stickers with my bike on them. Super sick. All right, guys, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. More videos to come for sure.